What's one stereotype women give men that annoys you? That we don't have a genuine desire to be around kids. Some men are just naturally inclined to teach and be a role model. As a male teacher, I feel that pain. I get a lot of weird responses when people ask me what I do for a living. Yeah, I'm a kindy teacher and I also lift weights. You'd be shocked by the amount of you teach kindergarten. It's not a tumor. I've always wanted to be a teacher, but I've been scared of that exact reaction from parents, family, friends, strangers I meet like at a social thing. I tutor a high schooler in math over Zoom for free, but I met the dude on PlayStation. He's a great kid. We discuss a lot about life. I feel fulfilled that he's learning life lessons I wish someone told me at his age. I enjoy shaping the future by just reiterating stuff I've learned, being patient if the kid doesn't get what I mean. I've always hated adults who bark demands without reasoning beyond I'm older. So shut up, respect me. So I made it a life policy that if a kid ever genuinely asks me why, I answer with complete sincerity, completion. This kid for X wasn't understanding XY graphs over Zoom. He started apologizing, wanting to give up beat. He thought I would be mad, but instead, I asked what he learns best with. He was surprised from his stories. He said I realized he's a visual learner. Personally, I love equations working backwards through completed problems, so I tried a new method. I invited him to a Minecraft session. It showed him how to graph 2xy graphs in a 3D Minecraft space. He had way more fun with it, eventually completed his whole U solo without my input. I was so immensely proud of him. He was happy that he figured it out, BC. He never believed he could, since when adults lose patience, he interpreted it as I'm just a dumbass wasting their time. He told me he wishes all his teachers were personal with methods like I did for him. That is the type of reaction I would absolutely adore. Make me work harder if I were to be a teacher. However, if I say out loud that I love kids, then that doesn't go well unless it's someone who knows me dearly like my Jeff or best bros. That men can't be repet or taken advantage of. It does happen. Men can be misled, drugged, and unaware. Then to talk about it, it's humiliating. No one will take you seriously or even cares. Yep, it's fucking gross. It goes hand in hand. But the guys are always horny with no feelings. It's expected that if a man doesn't want it, he should be able to defend himself, overpower her to stop it. But also, why wouldn't he want it? Because seek. Another really gross piece of this is how much more people want to let women predators slide. If a man predates on a young girl, everyone immediately stops what they're doing and throw the book at him, as they should. But if a woman predates on a young man, there will be a bunch of comments along the lines of, "Oh man, she's so hot, that kid is lucky. Wish I'd been in his shoes at his age." No, you don't. The kid was RP'd. If a woman who is a bad communicator tries to tell a man something and the man does not understand or does not realize she was trying to communicate it, then the man is the stupid one. Felt this directly. It's all my fault, apparently. You should just know, always will be. I will agree before I even think of starting a kangaroo debate that I will ultimately lose because I'm a man. I just agree or my favorite. That's crazy. Wow. Or we'll do the famous "you're right, dear." Wow. I'm not helping the issue by doing this, but I have seen a man win with his wife on fewer occasions than I have fingers. If anyone can find a better way of losing to a field of landmines, I'll listen. If it is logical and not full of charged emotions. Most women aren't nearly as good at communication or emotional intelligence as they think they are. They confuse those with emotional openness. She usually doesn't even communicate and just expect the man to already know what's bothering her. That all men are the same then lists reasons that women also do. That we don't need to be reassured, held, hugged, or any other sort of verbal or nonverbal affection. We are strong, tough, and confident. Until we are not. We are taught that affection leads to seek, but that's usually because that's when we get that kind of affection. It's a prelude to sick. My wife gets this, but I'm in my 50s and we've been together for almost 30 years. Hug your man and let him know he's appreciated and enough. My wife and I are 30. We've been together going on 11 years. She's the only one I've ever felt comfortable being affectionate with, partially due to some childhood abuse and neglect. I can remember trying to hug my mom when I was 8, and she pushed me away and said, "Get off me." My wife hugs me all the time, and it's hard to put in words how much it matters to me. Congrats on almost 30 years. Men don't express their emotions enough. I understand there's some kind of movement or narrative pushing men to be more communicative. However, that still doesn't change the fact that there would be no one to give a shit. A lot of people treat men like defective women. Men don't express their emotions like women do, and for some that's too hard to believe. Shit, I've been told I don't express my feelings at all so many times throughout my life by so many people. Started trying to show my feelings more. All people do is just push me away because I'm too sensitive or whatever. This is why I just keep to myself. Tired of the contradicting bullshit. Woman, show your feelings. It's good for you. Don't remain stoic all the time. Man shows his feelings, woman. No, not like that. Just one. There are loads I see online, but one that really annoys me is that life as a man is apparently super easy. I'm not saying it's worse as a man or anything, but life isn't easy for men either. Seem to point at men in power or as CEOs as a representation of men as a whole, which is ridiculous. Yes, it's mostly men in power or very wealthy in the world, but that's a very small amount of men. Most men don't have lives like them and never will. There are loads of homeless men on the street or men who are poor and trying to get by. Some of these men in these conditions will turn to drugs, a life of crime, or sadly end their lives. Most men aren't powerful, ultra-wealthy CEOs with all this power. Those men and women in those powerful positions don't care about the common man on the street. Most men won't ever be able to be super wealthy or be in positions of power, like in the government. Men are more likely to turn to crime, become addicted to substance abuse, commit suicide, or be homeless. Does that sound like they're having an easy time in life? Not downplaying women's issues, just saying men's life isn't easy as they may think it is. Then there are other stereotypes that we don't know how to show emotions or talk about our feelings, that we all think with our dicks and can't feel love and will cheat when given the chance. I know men who have been cheated on and other men who love their girlfriends' wives immensely. That fathers are automatically seen as the worst parent. Sometimes the father is the better parent. It's down to the individual parent, not the sex. I've seen sad, horrific case about a young boy called Eli Hart, who was murdered by his abusive mother after social services decided that his perfect father still wasn't good enough. If Eli Hart stayed in his father care, he wouldn't have been brutally murdered by his mother. Yes, this is an extreme example, but it proves my point that sometimes the father can be the better parent at times, but I think this is more of stereotype made up by society and needs to stop because it's putting kids in danger. The bias in these cases needs to stop and courts need to objectively see what parent is better suited for the child and stop assuming that the mother is automatically the better parent because that isn't always the case. Or that all we talk about with our male friends is only sex with women, cars, and sports. Or we all damn and can't do simple tasks. Yes, we can. We are human just like women. Some men are really stupid, but then so are some women. Why is this a stereotype? I don't see what seek has to do with someone's intelligence. I could go on, but I'll stop now. I agree with what you've mentioned. I'm a woman, and I used to think about this when I left high school. I was always pretty observant. I used to notice things weren't quite what I was led to believe about men. I believe we have all been socially engineered to confusion. Agreed. My aunt and mom, definitely more so my aunt, would hate a lot. I remember distinctly her telling me all men suck, so just pick a hot one. Like that's horrible to say to a young girl who's still learning how society works and forming opinions on stuff around her. She has some issues that I didn't realize until I became an adult, so unlearning that stuff she would say was hard. Luckily, I have an amazing partner who proves her wrong in every way. That men look out for each other and we're all in a boys-only club together. We aren't. Men are fiercely competing constantly, and most men will throw you under the bus in a heartbeat. Only good friends will stick up for each other, and sometimes even those will betray you. The upside to this compared to the female equivalent is that as a man, you most of the time know your enemies because they make themselves know. Women tend to have a more working in the shadows, anyone could be your enemy kind of approach. You know, the whole social sabotage, undermine and backtalk kind of thing. More stories on the channel. RedStore.